Hello, this is Sandra Pummel coming to you from Templeton, California, and it's been a while since I've done a video, but I had some extra time to kill and just figured I'd do a little short one, keep it short and sweet. But basically, I'm just wanting to touch on some of the issues which are facing the Central Coast today. So, the Central Coast of California faces its own social problems that often are swept under the rug by people who don't want to acknowledge that they exist, but some of us are well aware that there is a problem within the county. And so, although of course I'm not running for office or anything like that, I like to make videos once in a while to talk about these social issues that are going on. So, someone brought to my attention fairly recently an issue which I'll go over today. But first, I just want to mention that affordable housing is a big problem in the Central Coast region. And so there are affordable housing units available to some people, but by and large, it's not available enough. And so some people speculate that it has to do with the tourism and the wine country and things like that. But I believe that if there's a will, there's a way, and more power to the people. And so if people want to make a change, then we'll see those changes being made. And I believe that some people are being elected into the city council to try to make some changes. But there's a general attitude of condescension toward I think the homeless community by some people who want to keep the areas clean and want to make things look nice, but they're thinking about small businesses, which is fine, but they're also not really factoring in the well-being of the individual. So that does matter, and food and shelter are necessary parts of life, and so I always wonder why it happens to be so expensive to just be able to afford the basic things in life. So, touching on that, then secondly, just wanted to bring to the table that a friend of mine let me know that yet another, this is the second one that I've heard of a woman jumping off a bridge in San Luis Obispo County. So, back in San Luis Obispo near Madonna Road in San Luis, this had happened. And so, from a spiritual standpoint, there is quite a dark cloud over regions of the Central Coast. And so, um, removing that kind of dark cloud of depressive energy over the region in some places is good. But I think that although some of it is spiritual, I think some people are just very stressed out by Western society and how much pressure it puts on people, and so it drives people to the edge. And I have studied a lot about suicidality and what causes that, and I understand it very well. And I'm no stranger to those thoughts and emotions. And as a therapist and a social worker, I understand how those affect people. But I think that, in the old days, people would get together and there were, houses and communities that would get together and have people cared about each other more. I think there was a less of every man for himself and just this isolation and this social isolation with social media, and things were run a different way. And I think that even though people got depressed in those days, it may not have been as extreme as some of the lashing out that we see on the news today with the school shootings and the you know other just self-harm and harm to others that I believe could be avoided if there was more love. It's like that song, what the world needs now is more love, sweet love. So, I know these are big topics to talk about, but I just noticed that they are there. And, growing up in the Central Coast, it's not something I'm necessarily feel that I was a Passerolblin. I always felt like I kind of came from a different area or a different planet, even though I was raised in that arena. But um, I always noticed there wasn't a lot for young kids to do, and so there was plenty to get in trouble with. And with the rise of, the opioid crisis and um, the lethal fentanyl usage, I think that recovery programs need some progressive reform. I think that things need to be shifted in such a way so that less people slip through the cracks, more people are getting the recovery they need, and there's more grace on people to be able to succeed. So, anyway, it's all about healthy lifestyles. It's all about recovery and healing for the individuals and communities at large, people caring about each other. And if society was more healthy in general, both mentally, physically, the way we eat, if we were more healthy, then there would be less of a problem. So I believe that health is of utmost concern, and I don't believe that it's a partisan topic. I think that whether you are Republican, Democrat, or like myself, an independent voter, that there are things we can do to make changes in our communities. And what I learned in political science is the best way to make changes is in your local community. So if you want to make changes, big changes, working in the local community is a lot more effective than working at a national level. So anyway, this is your 6-minute discussion with Sandra Pummel. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.